Lang Konsehal Jedediah Presnedi.
Sarap kape.
Sige po, tayo po ay tumayo para po sa pambukas na panalangin. Panginoon Diyos, magpapalangin sa lahat, Lord. Ngayong umaga po ay lumalapit po kami sa inyo. Lord, upang itaas po itong aming pong regular po na session na pagpupulong. Dalangin po namin, Lord, na yung mga mapag-uusapan po namin dito ay yung po sa ikaunlad po ng lungsod ng Muntinlupa. Kung sakali man pong meron po kaming mga naisip po na mga bagay, kayo nawa po, Lord, yung mag-guide po sa amin para madala po yung mga konsepto or mga programa pong naisip po namin para po yung mas ma-improve pa po ito at maibaba nga po yung mga proyekto po sa mga mamamayan ng Muntinlupa. And Lord, dalangin po namin na yun din po, higit po sa sarili po namin kakayahan, ay kayo po yung magbigay ng wisdom po sa amin sa lahat ng ito. At Lord, tinataas po namin ang lahat ng ito sa inyo. Sa pangalan po ni Jesus. Amen.
Ang ating pulo panghihirang at ang Marsya ng Muntinlupa.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
ating pong councilor screen.
The Counselor's Creed. I am a Philippine counselor, mandated by law to enact measures and ordinances that redound to the general welfare of my constituents in their pursuit for happiness, peace, and prosperity. I believe in public service above self as the guiding principle of my official acts. And as I thread the pathways of local legislation, may the Almighty guide my mind and heart that I shall be true to my constituents and the Filipino people.
Ako na po tayo sa ating roll call. Kagalang-galang Councilor Attorney Alex Sondias, kagalang-galang Attorney Raul Coro, kagalang-galang Attorney Rachel Arsiaga Molina, kagalang-galang Pati Kati Bongkayaw, kagalang-galang Jedediah Presnedi, kagalang-galang Walter Arcilia, kagalang-galang Ting Ñefes, kagalang-galang Amanda Jane Camilon, kagalang-galang Attorney Reggie Ann Landrito, kagalang-galang Engineer Mamerto Sevilla Jr., kagalang-galang kay Anong Gavidia, kagalang-galang Francis Ian Bagatsing, kagalang-galang Engineer Arlene Hilapo, kagalang-galang Marisha Limar Baez Reyes, kagalang-galang Rodolfo W. Moldes Jr., kagalang-galang Cornelio Martinez, kagalang-galang Allen Ampaya, kagalang-galang Engineer Jonas Angelo Abadilla. Mayroon pong sapat na bilang.
Dahil tayo po ay may sapat na bilang, tayo po ay magpapatuloy.
Pagtitibayin po natin ang katitikan ng ika-55 regular na pulong.
Majority Floor Leader, Attorney Raul Coro, you are recognized.
Maraming salamat, Madam Presiding Officer, at magandang umaga sa atin lahat. Kung wala na hong pagbabago sa katitikan ng nakaraang pulong, nihiling ko po na ito ay atin ang pagtibayin.
There is a motion to approve the minutes of our previous regular session, seconded by Councilor Engineer Arlene Hilapo. Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
Para po sa ating unang basa, number 1, application for accreditation of Park Homes Tunasan Tricycle Operators and Drivers Association, Incorporated.
Madam Presiding Officer, this matter is referred to the Committee on Transportation, headed by the Honorable Councilor Ting Ñefes.
Kalawa po, an ordinance prohibiting the entry, sneaking, using, and carrying any forms of contraband inside Muntinlupa City Jail, male and female dormitory, and providing penalties for violation thereof, or the guard, the jail ordinance of Muntinlupa City.
This matter is referred to the Committee on Public Order, Security, and Safety, headed by the Honorable Councilor Alexon Diaz.
Katlo po ay an ordinance establishing the Bahay Pag-asa Muntinlupa City or the Juvenile Welfare and Rehabilitation Center, institutionalizing the system, protocols and management thereof, and appropriating funds therefore.
The matter is referred to the Committee on Social Services, headed by the Honorable Councilor
Arlene Hilapo.
Arlene Hilapo.
Para po sa ating unang ulat, ito po ay ang Information Technology Development, chaired by the Honorable Councilor Rodolfo W. Moldes Jr., on the draft ordinance amending Section 14 of City Ordinance Number 2021-256, also known as an ordinance acquiring, mandating all telecommunication companies, service providers, and other similar entities that use overhead wires and or cables operating in the city of Muntinlupa to install and or relocate wire and cable system underground, and an ordinance creating a technical working group to regulate and monitor poles or electricity generating companies, telecommunication, and community cable antenna television utilities within Muntinlupa City.
Councilor Dado Maldez, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. Honorable Stephanie Tebes Wong, City Vice Mayor, Presiding Officer, Sangguniang Panlunsod ng Muntinlupa. Through Honorable Councilor Attorney Raul R. Coro, Majority Floor Leader. Dear Madam Presiding Officer, respectfully submitting to your good office the report of the Committee on Information Technology and Development, the result of public hearing held on July 23, 2026 regarding the following draft ordinances. Number 1, an ordinance amending Section 14 of the Muntinlupa City Ordinance Number 2021-256, otherwise known as an ordinance requiring mandating all telecommunication companies, service providers, and other similar entities that use overhead wires and/or cables operating within the city of Muntinlupa to install and/or relocate wire and cable system underground. Number 2, an ordinance creating a technical working group to regulate and monitor poles and distribution lines and ensure proper and safe maintenance of every power or electricity generating companies, telecommunications, and community cable, antenna, television, utilities within Muntinlupa City. Madam Presiding Officer, I move to dispense the reading of the attendance and the documents submitted.
Any second on the said motion? Motion to dispense the reading of attendance and documents submitted, seconded by Councilor Engineer Arlene Hilapo. Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
Number 3, discussion. Public hearing was held to tackle the ordinance amending Section 14 of the Ordinance Number 2021-256, an ordinance requiring mandating all telecommunications companies, service providers, and other similar entities that use overhead wires and/or cables operating within the city of Muntinlupa to install and/or relocate wires and cable systems underground. Number 2, Sangguniang Panlungsod of Muntinlupa enacted the City Ordinance Number 2021-256, otherwise known as an ordinance requiring mandating all telecommunication companies, service providers, and other similar entities that use overhead wires and/or cables operating within the city of Muntinlupa to install and/or relocate wires and cable systems underground, and later approved by then City Mayor Attorney Jaime R. Presnedi on 10 of August 2021. Number 3, Honorable Engineer Marmeto Sevilla Jr., Chairman of Ways and Means and Land Use and Zoning, author of the Ordinance Number 2021-256, explained that when the ordinance was enacted in 2021, it was anticipated that all telecommunication companies possess the capability to install underground facilities. Participants acknowledged the ordinance objectives on improving public safety, enhancing the city aesthetics, reducing hazard posed by overhead wires, and promoting orderly infrastructure development. Number 4, as of now, Ordinance Number 2021-256 has not been put into effect, and the rules it contains are not being implemented or enforced by the concerned implementing bodies. Number 5, effectivity clause. The compliance period prescribed under the Ordinance 2021-256 is hereby reset. All entities covered by the ordinance shall comply with the requirements to install and/or relocate overhead wires and cable systems underground within 3 years from effectivity of this amendatory ordinance, subject to the implementing rules and regulations. The amendment provides that the ordinance shall take effect 5 years after its publication pursuant to the local government code and applicable law, rules, and regulation, effectively resetting the implementation time to August 2026. This adjustment will allow the city, together with the internal and external stakeholders, to properly plan and adapt a coordinated underground cabling system, whether through a city-built unified manhole system, a public-private partnership, or a telco consortium, thereby preventing uncoordinated excavation, avoiding burden on individual entities, and ensuring an orderly, safe, and aesthetically sound implementation of underground cabling beginning 2025. On the second part of the public hearing, the ordinance creating a technical working group was tackled. It was created to regulate and monitor poles and distribution lines and ensure power and safe maintenance of every power or electricity generating companies, telecommunications, and community cables, antenna, television, utility within Muntinlupa City. Number 7, On June 18, 2024, the Metro Manila Council issued issued MMC Resolution Number 24-16 entitled urging the local government units o LGU in Metropolitan Manila to enact an ordinance regarding the installation and maintenance of power poles, power and distribution lines, and appurtenant structure and assemblies of public utility and telecommunication companies within their jurisdiction. Number 8, on August 27, 2024, the Department of Interior and Local Government, DILG, issued Memorandum Circular Number 2024-122 entitled Amendment to DILG-MC Number 2023-115 and creation of task force to conduct clearing operation on overloaded poles and or hazardous poles. Number 9, the ordinance shall be known as clearing operation of poles and dangling spaghetti wires, Technical Working Group, Ordinance of Muntinlupa City. Number 10, the Technical Working Group shall be composed of the following chairperson. Number 1, head of the Technical Working Group is the City or Engineering Office. Vice chairpersons, chairperson Committee on Information and Technology, Sangguniang Panlusod, and chairperson Committee on Engineering, Public Works, and Infrastructures, Sangguniang Panlusod. Number 3 members, there are the head of office of the building official or his/her authorized representative, head of business permit and licensing office or his/her authorized representative, head of city disaster risk reduction and management office or his/her authorized representative, head of city planning and development office or his/her authorized representative, chief Bureau of Fire Protection or his/her authorized representative, president Liga ng mga Barangay, Public Information Office, and head of Muntinlupa Traffic Management Bureau or his authorized representative. Number 4, ex officio members, representative from Department of Public Works and Highway, representative from Metro Manila Development Authority, representative from the private sectors representing each electric utility company, each telecommunications company, and each cable TV company. Head of National Electrification Administration or his/her authorized representative. Number 5, Secretariat, City Engineering Office and Business Permit and Licensing Office. Number 11, upon review, the legal office has no objection to the proposed ordinance as it elaborate the existing ordinance for proper monitoring and implementation. However, we recommend the following. Letter A, ordinance amending section 14 of Ordinance 2021-156. In the intent of the City Council is for ordinance to take effect immediately. We recommend that the amended section be rephrased as it might be construed that the effectivity done will be 5 years from publication of proposed ordinance. Letter B, ordinance creating technical working group to regulate and monitor faults. The role of the executive department may be adopted by the technical working group as the latter is composed of the former as well. Recommendation. The committee hereby recommends to enact 2 ordinances. An ordinance amending section 14 of Muntinlupa City Ordinance number 2021-256, otherwise known as an ordinance requiring and mandating all telecommunication companies, service providers, and other similar entities that use overhead wires and/or cables operating within the city of Muntinlupa to install and/or relocate wires and cable system underground. And number 2, an ordinance creating a technical working group to regulate and monitor faults and distribution lines and ensure proper and safe maintenance of every power or electricity generating companies, telecom and community cables, antenna, televisions, utilities within city of Muntinlupa. Respectfully submitted, Councilor Rodolfo W. Moldes Jr., Chairman of the Committee on Information Technology and Development, Councilor Jedi Daya Presnedi, Vice Chairman, Attorney Raul Coro, Majority Floor Leader, Attorney K. Ann Regavilla, Member, Attorney Rachel Molina, Member, Attorney Alexon Diaz, Member, and Attorney Marie Shalimar Baez, Member. Madam Presiding Officer, I move to suspend the internal rules so we can proceed on second reading and final.
Any second on the said motion, seconded by Councilor Engineer Mameto Sevilla Jr. Hearing no objection, internal rules is suspended. We are-
Madam Chair, may I read the ordinance, the draft ordinance?
You may proceed po.
An ordinance amending Section 14 of Muntinlupa City Ordinance Number 2021-256, otherwise known as an ordinance requiring mandating all telecommunication companies, service providers, and other similar entities that use overhead wires and/or cables operating within the city of Muntinlupa to install and/or relocate wires and cable systems underground. Sponsored by Honorable Councilor W. Moldes Jr. Whereas Section 20 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution states that state recognize the indispensable role of the private sector, encourage private enterprise, and provides incentives to needed investment. Whereas Section 16 of the Local Government Code provides that every local government unit shall exercise the power extremely granted, those necessarily implied therefrom, as well as powers necessary, appropriate, or incidental for its efficient and effective governance, and those which are essential to the promotion of the general welfare. Within respective territorial jurisdictions, local government units shall ensure and support, among other things, the preservation and enrichment of culture, promote health and safety, enhance the right of the people to a balanced ecology, encourage and support the development of appropriate and self-reliant scientific and technologically capabilities, improve public morals, enhance economic prosperity and social justice, promote full employment among their residents, maintain peace and order, and preserve the comfort and convenience of their inhabitants. Whereas Section 458, supra, empower the Sangguniang Panlunsod of every city to regulate the placing of poles and adopt measures to ensure public safety against live wires and other similar hazards to the life and property. Whereas on August 2, 2021, the Sangguniang Panlunsod of Muntinlupa enacted the City Ordinance Number 2021-256, otherwise known as an ordinance requiring mandating all telecommunication companies, service providers, and other similar entities that use overhead wires and cables operating within the city of Muntinlupa to install and/or relocate wires and cable systems underground, and later approved by then City Mayor Attorney Jaime Jimmy Presnedi on August 10 of 2021. Whereas implementation of City Ordinance Number 2021-256 was adversely affected by the extraordinary circumstances brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic and the consequent regulatory relief extended to public utilities and telecommunication companies, as well as the non-finalization of implementing rules and regulation contemplated under the ordinance, which collectively compromised the original compliance period and delayed its full implementation. Whereas non-formulation and adaptation of implementing rules and regulation, or IRR, for City Ordinance Number 2021-256, which will provide the detailed policies, procedures, standards, and implementation framework necessary for the effective enforcement of the ordinance within the period originally contemplated. Affected and compromised the implementation scheduled and the compliance period prescribed therein. Whereas, in view of the foregoing and considering the lapse of time since enactment of City Ordinance Number 2021-256 it has become necessary to amend the ordinance to establish a new and realistic compliance period that will afford all covered entities sufficient opportunity to comply while allowing the city government to implement the ordinance in an orderly, uniform, and effective manner. Now, therefore, be it ordained, as it is hereby ordained by the 11th Sangguniang Panlungsod ng Muntinlupa in section assembled that Section 1, Section 14 of Ordinance Number 2021 read as follows. Section 14, Effective Clause. This ordinance shall take effect immediately upon approving and in accordance with the publication and posting requirements of the local government code and applicable laws, rules, and regulations. And now be amended and read as Section 14, Effectivity Clause. The compliance period prescribed under Ordinance Number 2021-256 is hereby reset. All entities covered by the ordinance shall comply with the requirement to install and relocate overhead wires and cable systems underground within 3 years from the effectivity of this amendatory ordinance, subject to the implementing rules and regulation. Section 2, Separability Clause. If, for any reason or reasons, any part or provision of this ordinance shall be held to be unconstitutional or invalid, other parts or provision thereof which are not effective thereby shall continue to be in full force and effect. Section 3, Repealing Clause. All for previous ordinances inconsistent with this ordinance shall be deemed repealed or modified accordingly. Section 4, Effectivity Clause. This ordinance shall take effect immediately after due publication. Enacted by the 11th Sangguniang Panlungsod of Muntinlupa on this day of June 2026 on its regular session. Madam Chair, and now ready for the discussion.
We are now in the period of discussion. May nais po bang magtanong o maglinaw? Majority Floor Leader, Attorney Raul Coro, you are recognized.
Maraming salamat po, Madam Presiding Officer. Ang layunin po nitong bagong ordinansa ay para amyendahan yung ating 2021 ordinance requiring the installation or relocation of overhead wires to underground cables. No? Ngayon, nakalagay po doon sa amyenda ay within 3 years from the effectivity of this amendatory ordinance. Tapos nakalagay pa, subject to the implementing rules and regulations. So medyo hindi po klaro kung ano talaga yung definite and final deadline or time frame. So I'd like to know from the sponsor of this ordinance na ano po ang definite na bagong time frame. Kasi pag sinabi natin ito yung effectivity clause within 3 years, that should not be subject to IRR. The IRR is just to implement it. Nakuha niyo po? Pag sinabi natin within 3 years from the effectivity of this ordinance, kailan po bang mag-take effect ang ordinance? That should take effect after the completion of the publication. Okay. Yun na po yung deadline. It cannot be subject anymore to the IRR, Madam Presiding Officer. Kasi yun ang nakalagay sa amendatory ordinance. Tignan nyo po, basahin nyo po mabuti. The ordinance, when it imposes a deadline, that deadline should not be subject anymore to the IRR or the implementing rules and regulations. The implementing rules should just implement it, not to, kasi kung mababasa niyo po dyan, parang may power pa yung IRR to change the deadline Oo.
Councilor Dado Montes.
Yes, thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. That's a very good comments, and we will amend these sections to raise the to rephrase again this section.
Opo, ang suggestion ko po, Madam Presiding Officer, is just to remove the phrase subject to the implementing rules and regulations. So, sabihin lang natin na within 3 years from the effectivity of this amendatory ordinance, period. And then, may ilalabas naman na IRR, sabihin naman dito na lalabas, implement na lang po yung 3-year deadline.
Okay. Yes, Madam. Madam Presiding Officers, we will amend this.
Later on the
Later
period
on
of
the
amendment. Any more questions or clarification? Councilor Paticati, you are recognized.
Good morning, Madam Presiding Officer. Another clarification ko lang po, since we are already amending the existing ordinance, bakit po tayo magpapasa pa ng separate ordinance for the creation of the technical working group? Hindi po ba natin siya pwedeng i-incorporate na dito po sa ginagawa nating amendment sa existing ordinance?
Well, medyo kasi yung technical working group, medyo broad yung function. Kaya para mas powerful yung ang technical working group, karoon ng sariling ordinance. Separate ordinance for technical working group.
Okay, yun lang naman po yung aking observation na sana ma-incorporate na natin siya since nag-amend na tayo ng mother ordinance natin na mag-add na lang sana ng provision for the creation of technical working group. Yun lang naman. But however, since yun naman yung sinabi ng ating chairman ng committee.
Actually, Madam Presiding Officer, yung technical working group, binuo para dun sa clearing operation ng mga dangling wires and spaghetti wires. One of the main function of the technical working group. Kaya po yun. Then secondly, doon sa sistema ng pagpaka-underground natin ng ating mga wires. Kaya binukod po natin yung technical working group.
May iba pa siyang... You wish to be recognized, Councilor Mameta Sevilla. You are recognized po. Papangalawan na lang po ni Councilor Ryan.
Madam Chair, I attended the hearing on the invitation of the sponsor. Basically, I am the original sponsor of the ordinance that will be amended. At ang paliwanag naman ng ating kasamang konsehal ay magkakaroon lang ng initial na paglilinis dun sa mga overhead wires na talaga namang ang dumitignan. Yun yung initial purpose. Nais ko lang din na paliwanag yung pong ordinance na sinike dito, yung ordinance number 2021, ay naipasa po yan with the purpose na lahat ng mga overhead lines ay dapat mailagay na sa underground. Yan po ay merong time element na iba-iba. Sa National Road, upon the effectivity ng ordinance, yan nga yun, nung pagkapasa, after 3 years, dapat yung National Road na overhead lines dapat mailalim na. And after the 4th year, yung mga secondary road, yun yung mga nakalagay doon sa original ordinance. Bakit po umabot sa ganitong punto na nagkakaroon ng amendment at purpose nga na gumawa ng panibagong ordinance for the creation of a technical working group na mag-aaral naman kung paano gagawin yung mga dangling o yung mga wire na salabat na ay malinis, Ang nangyari po kasi doon sa original ordinance, although naglagay tayo ng effectivity clause noon, hindi rin nagawa yung IRR ng mandated office for the purpose na hindi namin malaman kung paano ang implementation. Meron po kasing tatlong tinitingnan. Ang sadly, aminin po ng sponsor na meron kaming na-overlook before na bagay dahil nung ginawa yung ordinansa, hindi namin nakita na kaya pala lahat ng mga telecom companies na mag-underground. So kung bibigyan ng pahintulot ang lahat, we're counting them at mga nasa mga range ng 15 to 16 telcos, no? Yung mga PLDT, iba po yung PLDT sa Smart, Globe, Dito, Converge at iba-iba pa, kaya nila sa kanilang kapasidad na mag-underground cabling. Ang mangyayari, nagre-request ang lahat ng telcos na kanya-kanya sila ng manhole. Yung mapapansin po natin, nung una kami nag-implement ito, pinababa namin yung ilan, di ba, nagtatalunan yung mga sasakyan sa kalsada kasi nagkanya-kanyang manhole. So, doon sa initial is mga 2 or 3 pa lang yung nag-underground, ganun na yung itsura. Kaya, pinahold muna namin. At pinayagan muna namin uli na mag-aerial sila dahil kung ibang papatuloy, mapupuno ng manhole ang kalsada ng Muntinlupa. So, we are thinking here, yung ating engineering, kami and planning, na ang gawin na lang, it's either three different options. Una, ay magkaroon ng common manhole ang lahat. Yung pala yun ang pag-usapan. Common manhole ang lahat, pero 3 different options kung paano gagawin. Una, ang city ang maglalagay ng infrastructure, ang city ang maglalagay ng manhole, or even yung connectivity, yung mga run hole, yung lalagay ng mga linya nila, parerentahan mo dun sa mga telcos. Yun ang una, no? Or pangalawa is magkakaroon po ng PPP, no? Kung merong company na willing to put up a capital for the purpose of maintaining and operating a underground cabling system, yun yung pangalawa. And yung pangatlo naman is a consortium, no? Between the players doon sa industry ng telcos. Pero ang tinitingnan namin po ngayon dito, kung kakayanin sila ng budget ng city, is magtayo ng infrastructure at parentanahan na lang doon sa mga telcos. Kasi mas madaling i-manage atin ang control. So yun po yung tinitingnan. Ito yung dahilan kung bakit ang ating puting konsel naman nag-isip na habang kami ay gumagawa ng proseso kung paano i-implement yung underground cabling, lilinisin na ng kanyang ordinance yung mga salabat na linya ng aerial wiring po, Madam Chair. So yun po yung nangyari dyan kung bakit meron yung pinapropose na ordinance ng ating kasama council.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you,
Councilor, kinikilala po, Councilor Ryan Bagachi.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Chair. No? I was able to, naiintindihan ko po yung sinabi ni Councilor Sevilla, pero parang for me kasi, we are actually making an ordinance nang wala pang definite talaga na, kasi yung ordinansa po natin is for all telcos na mag-underground cabling. Pero sa ordinansa po natin, hindi naman din natin nilalagay kung paano yung mismong paraan para sila ay mag-underground cabling. While I do understand na inaatasan nito na gumawa ng isang technical working group, pero parang yung technical working group is more on the clearing. Yung medyo nitty-gritty na nung pag-i-implement mismo, kung saan po natin ilalagay yung underground cabling, no? I believe maganda po yung ordinansa, hindi naman tayo tumututol. Pero sana if we can define na talaga para pati yung budget pailagay. Pagpilian na natin, tayo bang LGU ay gagawa? I-compel ba natin ang telcos na magbukay? Pag-PPP ba tayo? For me kasi maganda po yung ordinance pero parang medyo may kulang pa eh. And I believe kung nung nakaraang 5 years ago, hindi nga natin na-implement to eh. 2021, tapos ngayon 3 years pa, di ba? Meron po tayo 5 taon noon, hindi natin natukoy kung paano gagawin yung ordinansa, paano, saan, kailan. Ako naniniwala ganun din yan, Madam Chair. Wala rin sorry, pero wala rin mangyayari dyan. Baka ako pwedeng tukuyin po muna natin kung paano po talaga pagdedesisyonan ng pamahalaan ng lungsod. Let's all agree whether the LGU will make the necessary and available infrastructure, or if we are to enter into a PPP, or if we are to compel all the telcos na magkasundo-sundo at pagkukay. So yun lang po yung sa akin, Madam Chair. Maraming salamat.
Okay, thank you, Konsyal Ryan Bagaching. Sa tugon doon sa sinabi ni Konsyal Ryan Bagaching, kaya po tayo magkakaroon ng technical working group para pag-usapan na ang magiging sistema sa paggawa ng underground cabling natin.
5 minutes recess.
Madam Presiding Officer. Madam Presiding Officer. Dahil sa rekomendasyon ng bawat konsihal during our 1-minute recess, I move that these ordinances be deferred and lay in the table.
There is a motion to defer ang nasabi pong usapin. Any second po? Seconded by Councilor Engineer Jonas Abadilla. Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer.
Kalawa po ay ang report ng Environment, Natural and Aquatic Resources, Fisheries and Agriculture, chaired by the Honorable Councilor K. Ann Rongavilla on the Muntinlupa Youth Declaration for Laguna Lake Management and Protection.
Sorry. Councilor K. Ann Rongavilla, you are recognized.
Good morning, Madam Chair. May I read to you my committee report?
You may proceed.
Honorable Stephanie G. Teves Wong, City Vice Mayor, Presiding Officer, Sangguniang Panglungsod ng Muntinlupa, through Honorable Councilor Atty. Raul Arcoro, Majority Floor Leader. Madam Presiding Officer, respectfully submitting to your good office the report of the Committee on Environment, Natural and Aquatic Resources, Fisheries and Agriculture, the result of the public hearing held on June 23 regarding the letter from Ms. Lorna Misa on Muntinlupa Youth Declaration for Laguna Lake Management and Protection. Since nakasuspend naman yung internal rules, Madam Chair, hinihiling ko po na ipagpaliban ng pagbasa ng attendance at documents submitted.
Any second? The said motion seconded by Councilor Engineer Mameto Sevilla Jr. Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
For the discussion, number 1, public hearing was held to tackle the Muntinlupa Youth Declaration for Laguna Lake Management and Protection and the resolution declaring the month of August every year as Lake Protection and Awareness Month in the city of Muntinlupa. The Laguna Lake is an important ecological, economic, cultural, and environmental resource that provides livelihood, supports biodiversity, promotes tourism, and contributes to the overall well-being of the people of the city of Muntinlupa. The youth organizations of the city of Muntinlupa during the conduct of the Araw ng Kalikasan 1122, held on November 21, November 2025 at the Activity Center, South Park Center, Barangay Alabang, Muntinlupa City, adopted the Muntinlupa Youth Declaration for Laguna Lake Management and Protection, expressing their collective commitment to the protection, conservation, rehabilitation, and sustainable management of Laguna Lake, and further urging the Sangguniang Panglungsod to declare the month of August as Lake Protection and Awareness Month. Number 4, during the observance of Lake Protection and Awareness Month, the city government through the Lake Management Office, LMO, in coordination with the LLDA, Department of Environment and Natural Resources, Sangguniang Kabataan, barangays, schools, non-government organizations, people's organizations, and other stakeholders shall spearhead and support activities such as cleanup drives, tree planting, environmental education campaigns, lake rehabilitation programs, water conservation advocacy activities, youth environmental initiatives, and the other related environmental protection programs. Number 5, upon review, the legal office has no objection to the Muntinlupa Youth Declaration and the Sangguniang Panglungsod resolution, as these are consistent with the city's 7K agenda on kalikasan, which seeks to implement programs for the preservation of natural resources and protection of the environment, sustainability of clean water and air, effective waste management and disposal, and other measures to mitigate the adverse impacts of climate change. For the recommendation, the committee hereby recommends to adopt a resolution on Muntinlupa Youth Declaration for Laguna Lake Management and Protection. Respectfully submitted by yours truly, Committee on Environment, Natural and Aquatic Resources, Fisheries and Agriculture, and members. Madam Chair, I move to open the period of discussion.
We are now in the period of discussion. Kinikilala po, Councilor Engineer Jonas Abadilla.
Magandang umaga po, Madam Presiding Officer, at sa Chairman po ng aming Committee on Environment and Natural Resources, at sa mga miyembro po ng Sangguniang Panglunsod. Ako po ay buong suporta po sa pagpapasa po ng resolusyon dahil ito po ay isang malaking hakbang para po maprotektahan po ang ating Laguna de Bay, especially our coastal areas sa Laguna de Bay, traversing from Sucat to Tunasan. Madam Presiding Officer, isang mahalagang hakbang po ito na isang malaking commitment ng mga kabataan at ng lungsod ng pamahalaang lungsod ng Muntinlupa kapag po napasa po natin yung resolusyon na tutukan ang paglilinis po ng coastal area ng Laguna de Bay. Lalo-lalo na po, Madam Presiding Officer, isang malaking pressing issue po yung pagtaas po ng level po ng Laguna de Bay, and natatanaman din po natin yung mga pressing issues such as yung spillway project na pinopropose ng national government sa Barangay Buri, particularly dito po sa lungsod ng Muntinlupa. And by protecting the Laguna Lake, kaisa po ng Environmental Protection and Natural Resources Office and ng Environmental Sanitation Center, may commitment po ang SK youth organizations at mga partner agencies para po masuportahan ng mga proyekto at mabudgetan yung ganitong klaseng mga inisyatiba. With that, Madam Presiding Officer, buong suporta po tayo sa pagpapasa ng resolusyon, and isang malaking suggestion lang po sa ating chairperson. Suggestion lang po, since ito po ay isang nagpapasa po tayo ng isang resolusyon sa kapamilya po ng Sangguniang Panglungsod, hinihiling ko rin po sana sa aming chairperson na kapag-aralan na magkaroon din po ng ordinansa na idinedeklara ang Protection Month ng Agosto, kung saan report din naman po mamaya, magkaroon po ng isang ordinansa na kung saan merong commitment ang bawat partner agencies, government agencies, na tutulong sa pag-rehabilitate ng Laguna de Bay, particularly sa coastal areas po ng ating lungsod. Mula Sumat po hanggang Tunasan, Madam Presiding Officer. Nagkakausap naman din po kami sa Solid Waste Management Board na kung saan lahat po ng mga partner agencies ng pamahalaang lungsod at mga partner organizations ay kaisa po natin sa inisyatibang ito, Madam Presiding Officer. It's just a manifestation, and we fully support, on behalf of the SK Foundation, we fully support the passage of this resolution, Madam Presiding Officer. Maraming salamat.
Yeah, maraming salamat po sa tinuran po ng ating SK Fed, Councilor Jonas Abadilla, sa pagbibigay po ng komento tungkol dito sa ating resolusyon. Maraming salamat sa pagkakaroon ng commitment para po dito sa ipapasa nating resolusyon ngayong araw na to.
Meron pa po ba nais na magtanong? Councilor Engineer Arlene Ilapo, you are recognized.
Magandang umaga po, Madam Chair. Maganda po yung resolution na naipasa natin kasama ko sa kay Rongavilla. Ngunit, ang katanungan ko po ay anong mga pwede natin maging programa para maging mas epektibo yung dinedeklara natin buwan ng pagkilala at bigay ng proteksyon sa Laguna Lake. Kasi katulad niyan, may mga bahayan na nakatungtong mismo sa Laguna Bay na walang palikuran, walang lababo, diretso sa tubig at tapon ng lahat ng kanilang waste. So ano pong magiging programa natin na makakatulong para mawala ito or maiwasan ito?
Councilor Kay Anrangavilla.
This is for Resolution Muntinlupa Yacht Declaration. No? Para po sa mga kabataan, regular pong gagawin, raising awareness po, lalo na sa mga kabataan po to. At magkakaroon po kasi tayo ng, which is mamaya po, yung Lake Protection Month. Doon po nila gagawin yung pagre-raise ng awareness regarding sa waste segregation management, lalo na po doon sa mga kabahayan po na nakatayo po mismo doon sa waterways ng ating lungsod.
Sana mas pagtibayin natin yung gagawin natin kasi kung hindi maaalis yung mga nakatira mismo sa ibabaw ng tubig ng lawa ng Laguna, patuloy na magiging madumi ang tubig ng lawa ng Laguna. At lalo pang dudumi kasi lahat ng waste nila doon tumatapon. So yung awareness natin, sige, mag-campaign tayo para sa awareness, pero kung yung solusyon para mawala yung ganong problema, yun dapat yung pagbigyan natin ng tuon. Kasi magiging cycle lang tayo. Ikot, ulit lang ng ulit yung gagawin natin, pero hindi nasusolusyonan yung totoong problema. So sana po kung gusto nating mas luminis yung Laguna Lake, solusyonan natin yung problema natin dun sa mga nakatira sa ibabaw ng tubig ng Laguna Lake. Salamat po.
Okay, maraming salamat po, Councilor. Arlene Hilapo, sa inyong noted po iyan.
May nais pa po bang magtanong o maglinaw? Councilor, Majority Floor Leader Attorney Raul Coro.
Salamat po, Madam Presiding Officer. Maganda po itong ating resolution ng ating mga kabataan ng Muntinlupa tungkol sa declaration for the Laguna Lake Management Protection. Pero ang mas malalim po na issue na ating kinakaharap ngayon patungkol po sa Laguna Lake ay yung pong batas o yung mandato na kung saan nabuo itong Laguna Lake Development Authority. Ito pong LLDA ay isang batas po ito, I think Republic Act 4850, na ipinasa noong 1966 na kung saan ay nakita natin ngayon after several decades of operation ay hindi po kaya ng LLDA na mabigyan ng proteksyon ang ating lawa. Kaya naman ito po ay kailangan ng repasuhin at kausap ko po ang ating magaling na Congressman Jaime Fresnel na isa sa kanyang priority bills ay ang amyenda ng Republic Act 4850 or Creating the Laguna Lake Development Authority, at ito ay gawing consistent sa ating bagong konstitusyon dahil 1966 pa po ito at lalo higit maging consistent sa ating new Local Government Code of 1991 na kung saan binibigyan ang mga LGUs ng tinatawag na local autonomy. Narito tayo ngayon, mayroong isang Laguna Lake Development Authority na nangangasiwa ng lawak at kapaligid nito, sa kapaligiran nito ay Rizal, Laguna, Metro Manila, na walang power ang mga LGUs sa kabila ng mayroong local autonomy. So, ang dapat po ay mas malalim na isang measure that will revisit the Laguna Lake Development Authority Republic Act 4850 at bigyan ng kapangyarihan ang mga LGUs na nakapaligid sa Laguna Lake para magkaroon ng co-management. Hindi lang po ang LLDA, dahil hindi po nila kaya. Wala silang enforcers. Kulang ang kanilang mga tao. So, kung bibigyan ng seat ang mga LGUs sa LLDA board, sila ay kasama doon sa decision making, sa tingin ko, mas mabibigyan natin ng proteksyon ang ating Laguna Lake. Kaya nag-uusap po kami ni Congressman Fresnel na dapat ay magkaroon na ng amyenda. At kausap ko po ang mga LGUs sa paligid ng lake, yan, Binyang, Santa Rosa, Rizal, Halahala, Pililla, Baras. Lahat naman po ay gustong mabigyan ng proteksyon, pero walang papel ang LGUs. Kaya bumubuo po tayo ng isang template ordinance, Lahat ng mga LGUs na kapaligid sa Laguna Lake na hinihiling sa Kongreso na amyendahan na ang LLDA law circa of 1966 at gawin na itong more relevant to the times. Dahil ang mga LGUs po ay may mahalagang papel na nagagampanan upang mabigyan ng tamang proteksyon, sustainable development, ang Laguna Lake. Sa ngayon po, meron ng mga studies na lumalabas na pasama na ang quality ng water. Tapos pumasok pa ang Maynila, kinukuha yung tubig. Tapos patuloy ang mga pollution sa ating lake. So kailangan na po ito i-revisit at magsama-sama ang mga LGUs sa buong nakapaligid ng Laguna Lake para ito po ay mabigyan ng proteksyon. Tama lang po na ating mga kabataan ay concerned sa kahihinatnan nitong Laguna Lake, pero hindi po ito sapat. Kailangan po ang baguhin ang mandato ng LLDA at mabigyan ng papel ang mga local government units from Rizal to Laguna to Metro Manila upang magkaroon ng boses at kapangyarihan ng ating mga LGUs sa proteksyon ng ating Laguna Lake. Yan lamang po. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat po, Attorney Raul Coro, para po sa information po regarding...
Councilor Cornelio Martinez, you are recognized.
Magandang umaga po, Mr. Chairman. Alam niyo yung kwento, yung Kiko Salcoro na opinion, sobrang pong ganda talaga noon. Kasi nung araw, natatandaan ko, pasal dyan kami, hindi kami dyan. Dyan kami lumaki. Talaga ang tubig dyan nung araw na inom, takang isda, matamis, sarap, sobrang sarap ng isda dyan. Dahil yan po talaga ang pinalaki namin. Kaya yung suggestion niya na kailangan talaga magamit yung local governments pag-aayos ng dagat. Pero parang hindi po kakayanin kasi sobrang po laki ng Laguna Lake. Sobrang po laki. Parang kailangan pa rin ang suporta ng national. Kaya ulit po, wala po akong masabi sa yung kay Consul Coro na talagang papaliwanag. Hindi po lamang, maraming salamat.
Salamat po, Councilor Martinez. May nais pa po ba magtanong o maglinaw?
Kung wala na pong mga katanungan, I close the period of discussion.
Motion to end the period of discussion. Any second? Seconded by Councilor Shasha Baez Reyes. Hearing no objection, the period of discussion is now closed. We are now in the period of amendment. May nais po bang mag-amenda?
Kung wala naman na pong babaguhin or aamyendahan, I move to all will, in the period of amendment, I move that all will vote in favor of this resolution to be included as co-sponsors of the said resolution. I move to close the period of amendment.
Motion to end the period of amendment. Seconded by Councilor Engineer Jonas Abadilla. Hearing no objection, the period of amendment is now closed.
Madam Chair, I move that we vote on the said resolution.
All those in favor of the said resolution, please raise your right hand.
Favor are Councilors Rangabilla, Bagat Singh, Nilapo, Baez Reyes, Moldes, Martinez, Ampaya, Abadilla, Landrito, Sevilla, Camilon, Yefes, Arcilia, Presnedi, Bongcayao, Arsiaga Molina, Coro, at Diaz. Lahat po na narito ay isa ngayon.
Dahil ang lahat po ng narito ay sumasang-ayon ng nasabi pong resolusyon na ipinagtitibay.
Tatlo po ay report muli ng Environment, Natural and Aquatic Resources on the second City of Muntinlupa 10-year Solid Management Plan.
Councilor Kian Ragavilla, you're again recognized.
Madam Chair, may I read to you my committee report? Honorable Stephanie J. Teves Wong, City Vice Mayor, Presiding Officer, Sangguniang Panglungsod ng Muntinlupa. Through Honorable Councilor Attorney Raul Coro, Majority Floor Leader. Madam Presiding Officer, respectfully submitting to your good office the report of the Committee on Environment, Natural and Aquatic Resources, Fisheries and Agriculture, the result of the public hearing held on July 28, 2026 regarding the letter from Lorna B. Miso on the second City of Muntinlupa 10-year Solid Waste Management Plan 2025 to 2034. Since Madam Chair, nakasuspend naman po ang internal rules. Hinihiling ko po na ipagpaliban po ang pagbasa ng attendance at documents submitted.
Any second on the said motion? Seconded by Councilor Attorney Regia Andandito. Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
For the discussion, public hearing was held to tackle the second City of Muntinlupa 10-year Solid Waste Management Plan 2025 to 2034. Number 2, the National Solid Waste Management Commission is composed of 8 members from the government sector and 5 members from the private sector. In accordance with the provision of the Republic Act Number 11898, the otherwise known as an act institutionalizing the extended producer responsibility on plastic packaging waste, amending for this purpose Republic Act Number 9003, otherwise known as the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000. Number 3, the Section 16 of RA 9003 requires provinces, cities, and municipalities through their local solid waste management boards to prepare their respective 10-year solid waste management plans consistent with the National Solid Waste Management Framework and in accordance with the provisions of the Act and the policies set by the National Solid Waste Management Commission. Number 4, NSWMC Resolution 39 Series of 2009, entitled Resolution Amending NSWMC Resolution Number 8, entitled Guidelines on the Review and Approval of the 10-year SWM Plans of LGUs, was approved on October 9, 2009 by the DNR Secretary Honorable Jose L. Atienza. Number 5, after a thorough review and evaluation by the NSWMC Secretariat, that the NSWMC EXICOM in a meeting on December 4, 2025, has agreed to endorse for the approval of the NSWMC and bank the 10-year SWM Plan 2025 to 2034 of City of Muntinlupa, Metro Manila. For the recommendation, the committee hereby recommends to adopt a resolution approving the second City of Muntinlupa 10-year Solid Waste Management Plan 2025 and 2034. Respectfully submitted by yours truly, Chairman of the Environment and Natural Resources and Aquatic, and the member sign. Madam Chair, I move to open the period of discussion.
Tayo pa ay nasa period of discussion. May nais po bang magtanong o maglinaw?
Meron copy yung
May copy ka. Management. Hindi natin alam ano nasa loob ng 10-year plan. Kaka-flash lang natin for everybody. A-adopt natin yan eh. Baka pwede po may flash for the of the member yung 10-year solid plan.
Oo.
Ayan.
May copy ang...
Tayo po ay nasa period of discussion. May nais po bang magtanong o maglinaw?
Kung wala naman na pong katanungan, meron po.
Councilor Paticati, you are recognized.
Siguro po, Madam Presiding Officer, for the information of the body and for the record, mabanggit na lang po natin ano po yung kinaibahan ng ating pinapasa ngayon ng 10-year Solid Waste Management Plan 2025 to 2034. Ano po yung mga binawas at idinagdag natin this time from the reviews?
Continuous po yung before 10-year. And then nadagdag lang po yung sa informal settlers, yung disaster waste management waste. And then yung pagkakaroon po ng IWS, which is yung mga, hindi sila scavengers eh. Like, yung mga hindi naman natin pwedeng sabihin na sila mismo yung nagkakalat ng basura na kinokolekta ng... Kasi meron po tayo mga iba pa na hindi kasama sa government na kumukuha ng basura. So isasama po natin sila, gagawin po nating part of the group. Yung mga hindi nakukuhang basura dun sa loob mismo na maliliit na hindi kaya pasukin ng truck, sila po ang kukuha. Yun po yung, bago po from the previous solid waste management plan.
Okay na ba? Nasagot ba?
Yeah.
Councilor Patty, okay na.
Kung wala naman na po
Councilor Dado
katanungan.
Maldes, you are recognized.
Hello. Madam Presiding Officer, I'm the Vice Chair of the committee. Nais ko lang pong itanong kung nagbago ba yung per capita, kilo per capita ng ating last 10 years. Nagbawasan ba, no? How
Yes
many
po.
kilos?
I'm not sure particularly kung ilang kilos yung ano. Pero
So,
sa percentage, yes.
Definitely nabawasan.
Yes po.
Okay. Yan naman po talaga ano ng management plan ng ating city, ng national, para mabawasan yung kilogram per capita ng individual dito sa ating lusa. Maraming salamat, Madam Presiding Officer.
Thank you po. Meron pa po bang nais na magtanong o maglinaw?
Kung wala naman na po katanungan, I move to close the period of discussion and move to the period of amendment.
Motion to end the period of discussion. Any second? Seconded by Council Attorney Reggie Anlandito. Hearing no objection, the period of discussion is now closed. We are now in the period of amendment.
Madam Chair, in the period of amendment, I move that all will vote in favor of this resolution to be included as co-sponsors of the said resolution. Kung wala nang pong aamyendahan, I move to close the period of amendment.
Any second on the proposed amendment? Seconded by Councilor Shasha Baez Reyes. Hearing no objection, the proposed amendment is approved.
Madam Chair, I move that we vote on the said resolution. Thank you.
Motion to end the period of amendment, seconded by Councilor Shasha Baez Reyes. Hearing no objection, the period of amendment is now closed. All those in favor of the said resolution, please raise your right hand.
Favor are Councilors Rongabilia, Bagatsing, Hilapo, Baez Reyes, Moldes Jr., Martinez, Ampaya, Abadilla, Engineer Sevilla Jr., Attorney Landrito, Camilon, Yefes, Arcilia, Presnedi, Bongcayao, Arsiaga Molina, Attorney Coro, and Attorney Diaz. Lahat po nang narito ay sa ngayon.
Dahil ang lahat po ng narito ay sumasang-ayon, ang nasabi pong resolusyon ay ating pong pinagtitibay.
Kapat po ay ang ulat ng Oversight Committee chaired by the Honorable Councilor Attorney Raul Coro on the privilege speech delivered by the Honorable Vice Mayor regarding the authority under which two major service contracts of the city were entered into, namely contract for garbage hauling services and contract for security guard services.
Majority Floor Leader Attorney Raul Coro, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. May I read to you the committee report?
You may proceed.
Honorable Stephanie G. Tevez Wong, Vice Mayor, Presiding Officer, Sangguniang Panglusod. Dear Vice Mayor, respectfully submitting to you the report of the Oversight Committee on the public hearing held conducted on Thursday, July 23, 2026 at 11 a.m. at the Session Hall on the topic privilege speech delivered by the Vice Mayor regarding the authority under which two major service contracts of the city were entered into, namely contract for garbage hauling services and two contract for security guard services. Madam Presiding Officer, since there are so many attendees, may I move that we dispense the reading of the attendees and the documents submitted.
Any second? Seconded by Councilor Dado Maldes. Hearing no objection, the motion is approved.
Discussion. 1. The Honorable Vice Mayor delivered her privilege speech during other matters. after temporarily relinquishing her duty as presiding officer to the majority floor leader. In her speech, she said that she has not found any Sangguniang resolution authorizing the city mayor to enter into security service contracts covering the years 2024 to 2026 and garbage hauling services contract for the years 2025 to 2026, as provided in Section 22C and Section 455B of the Local Government Code of 1991, or RA 7160. The Vice Mayor then moved to conduct an inquiry and for the appropriate committee to invite concerned officials to shed light on the matter. 3. The matter was referred to the Oversight Committee, hence this hearing. For the main issue raised in the privilege speech and discussed in the hearing was as follows. Is there a need for prior authorization from the Sangguniang Panglungsod before the local chief executive can enter into contracts above mentioned? 5. The relevant provision which was cited in her privilege speech is Section 22C of RA 7160, otherwise known as the New Local Government Code of 1991, which provides in part, and quote, C, unless otherwise provided in this code, no contract may be entered into by the local chief executive in behalf of the local government unit without prior authorization by the Sangguniang concerned. Unquote. 6. The Vice Mayor and her legal officer, Attorney Kichi San Pedro, said during the hearing that the Annual Appropriations Ordinance for the covered years provides that the projects related to the two contracts were described as follows. A, quote, under Environment and Sanitation Services, or ESC budget, the funding for the garbage collection is listed as, quote unquote, environment sanitation services. And B, quote, under the city administrator budget, the amount for the security agency contract is listed as, quote unquote, security services. C, in the annual investment program, or AIP, under the ESC, more than 334 million is allocated for quote-unquote routinary garbage collection. Under the city administrator, the amount of security services is listed as quote-unquote security services for the city government premises, facilities, and sports complex. 7. The Vice Mayor and her legal officer expressed their belief that the terms used in the Appropriations Ordinance and the AIP are general descriptions and not specific projects, and thus the said contracts require prior authorization from the Sangguniang through the passage of a resolution. 8. The Local Finance Committee, represented by City Legal Officer Attorney Genesis Santiago, said in reply that it is the position of the Executive Department that while Section 22 is the general rule, the said provision allows exception and cited 3 cases decided by the Supreme Court on the matter. 9. He said the line items, quote-unquote, environment/sanitary services and, quote-unquote, security services are specific under the Appropriations Ordinance, and thus, there is no need for a separate authorization from the Sangguniang. 10. Citing Isimbing versus Garcia, 593 Philippines, 655, from the pages 663 to 664 on the year 2008, the Supreme Court first pronounced the legal principle that no separate authorization from the Sangguniang is needed before a contract may be entered into by the local chief executive if the appropriation ordinance contains a provision specifically covering the expense to be incurred or the contract to be entered into. The question of whether a Sangguniang authorization separate from the appropriation ordinance is required should be resolved depending on the particular circumstances of the case. resort to appropriation ordinance is necessary in order to determine if there is a provision therein which specifically covers the expense to be incurred or the contract to be entered into. Should the appropriation ordinance, for instance, already contain in sufficient detail the project and cost of a capital outlay, such that all the local chief executive needs to do after undergoing the requisite public bidding is to execute the contract, no further authorization is required, the appropriation ordinance already being sufficient. 11. The city legal officer said that this principle was echoed in Berceles Jr. versus Commission on Audit, 794 Philippines 629, the year 2016, and where the Supreme Court ruled that the item, quote unquote, tree seedling production for environmental safeguard amount, 3 million, is sufficient authority because the same specifically and expressly set aside 3 million to fund the tree seedlings production project of the province. 12. And finally, he said that all these principles were discussed in the latter case of Chermar versus Legazpi, GR number 232532, October 1, 2018, involving quote-unquote consultancy services found under the category maintenance and other operating expenses of the budget for the office of the city mayor, which is found in the annex of the appropriations ordinance under the heading Program Appropriation and Obligation by Object of Expenditure. Therein, the Supreme Court ruled that the subject consultancy services is specific because it is a line item, a specific allocation to a specific purpose for the specific maintenance and operating expense of a specific office. In this case, the Sangguniang Bayan's Appropriation Ordinance for the fiscal year 2013 indicated a budget of 250,859,675 to be sourced from the general fund and 279,565.93.62 to be sourced from the special fund. Of these amounts, Section 4 of the Appropriation Ordinance allocated 40,609,457.62 to the Mayor's Office, while this allocation contained no specific line item. Section 1 of the same ordinance provided for the incorporation of several documents to be made as integral part of their own. Particularly, it included the budget document denominated as Budget of Expenditures and Sources of Financing. A review of the records revealed that among the attachments to the Appropriation Ordinance is LDP Form Number 3, or Program Appropriation and Obligation by Object of Expenditure, the first 3 pages of which pertain to the budget of the Office of the Mayor. The object of expenditures for the Office of the Mayor is categorized into 3. 1. Current operating expenditures. 2. Capital outlay. And 3. Special purpose appropriation. The current operating expenditures is further divided into 2 subcategories. 1. Personal services. 2. Maintenance and other operating expenses. And the subject line item consultancy services is found in the MOOE along with other line items such as traveling expenses, training expenses, representation expenses, and intelligence expenses. 13. He said, in effect, therefore, the subject line item in this case, like other line items in the Appropriations Ordinance, is specific, an allocation to a specific purpose for the specific maintenance and operating expense of a specific office. In the language used in Belgica, this line item, which is found in the MOE of the Office of the Mayor, shall already be deemed sufficiently specific. 14. Applying the foregoing in the instant case, he said the subject line items, quote-unquote, environment/sanitary services and quote-unquote security services are undoubtedly specific. There are specific amounts allocated to them. They are found among other line items under the maintenance and other operating expenses, the Environment Sanitation Center and Office of the City Administrator, respectively. And they further form part of the attached Local Budget Preparation, or LBP Form number 2, with the heading, quote-unquote, Program Appropriation and Obligation by Object of Expenditure. We further explain that the preparation of the annual budgets of the LGUs is governed by local budget memorandum requiring compliance with the revised chart of accounts for LGUs. The Department of Budget and Management annually issues local budget memorandum prescribing the guidelines in the preparation of the annual budgets of LGUs, constantly requiring that, quote-unquote, annual budgets of provincial cities and municipalities shall be prepared consistently with the revised chart of accounts for LGUs as prescribed under Commission on Audit Circular Number 2015-009, as supplemented by COA Circular Numbers 2022-004 and 2024-006. This revised chart of accounts specifically prescribes the following line items: environment/sanitary services. This account is used to record the cost of services contracted undertaken by administration for the upkeep and sanitation of the public places. This includes the cost of clean and green program, garbage and hospital waste collection and disposal, and security services. This account is used to record the cost of security services contracted by the government. Still, he emphasized that these are the very line items used in the subject appropriation ordinances. In other words, he said that in as much as we would like to use words of our own choosing in crafting the appropriation ordinance, we are only limited to what is prescribed by the revised chart of accounts issued by the Commission on Audit. 17. To support his position, he also submitted a letter from the local Commission on Audit, which supports the regularity of the subject contracts entered without a separate authorization. 18. To remove any doubt, it is no less than the Muntinlupa City Audit Group of the Commission on Audit, which upheld the regularity of the subject contracts in its letter dated July 22, 2026, providing the following observations, and I quote, "Thus, based on the foregoing, the contract awarded with Lionel Waste Management Corporation for garbage collection and with Best Security Agency Incorporated for the provision of security services for calendar year 2026 were based on the submitted AIP and executive budget for the calendar year 2026 under the City SP Resolution number 2025-102 and SP Ordinance number 2025-046, and both were found in order by the office. Recommendation: the Oversight Committee hereby recommends the position of the Local Finance Committee as expressed by City Legal Officer Attorney Genesis Santiago and supported by decisions of the Supreme Court, DBM and COA memorandum circulars and forms should be adopted, and that based on the foregoing discussions, no prior authority is necessary from the Sangguniang through the passage of the resolution for the local chief executive to enter into the aforementioned two contracts. And two, the committee encourages all members of the City Council to check or confirm first with the departments concerned to verify, confirm any issue that needs clarification instead of immediately delivering a privileged speech to avoid stirring up unnecessary strong emotions among the general public. Respectfully submitted, yours truly as chairman of the Oversight Committee, and all members signed. Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer, and this is the report of the Oversight Committee.
Thank you so much po, Majority Floor Leader, the Chairperson of Oversight Committee. I respectfully acknowledge the submission of the Oversight Committee report at nagpapasalamat po ako sa committee sa oras at effort na inalaan sa inquiry na ito. Without prejudice to any differing legal interpretations on the substantive issues, gusto ko lamang pong maglagay, Madam Secretary, ng 3 procedural matters for the record. First, gusto ko lang pong mailagay sa record na ang committee po, upon the hearing, ay nagbigay sa both parties ng 20 days para mag-file ng kani-kanilang position papers. Gusto ko rin pong mailagay sa record na ang committee report na ito na binasa po ng ating chairperson of Committee on Oversight ay nasubmit habang bukas pa ang 20-day period na ibinigay. Bilang paggalang sa unang directive ng committee, magpa-file pa rin po ako ng aking position paper within the period that was given. Second, ang committee report ay napansin po natin na nag-refer sa mga DBM issuances at COA revised chart of account bilang bahagi ng naging basis ng recommendation nito. Kung ang mga ito ay naging bahagi ng legal at factual basis ng committee report, magalang ko pong hinihiling na kung hindi pa po bahagi ng committee report na ito, ay mai-attach rin ang mga ito upang mas maging complete po ang legislative record ng sanggunian. At huli, sinusuportahan ko po ang layunin ng recommendation number 2 bilang isang guide to good legislative practice. Ang gusto ko lang po ay mailagay po sa record, Madam Secretary, ang aking pag-asa na ang rekomendasyon na ito ay hindi ma-interpret bilang isang mandatory procedural requirement bago magamit ng isang member ang kanyang legislative prerogatives. Ang layunin ko lamang po ay makatulong na mas maging complete ang ating legislative record at mas maging malinaw ang ating proceedings para sa kapakinabangan po ng council na ito at ng publiko. I respectfully request that these manifestations be entered into record. Maraming salamat po. Any other matter to be discussed? Next agenda po.
Takaw po tayo sa ating unfinished business. Ito po ay ang para po sa Environment, Natural and Aquatic Resources, the resolution declaring the month of August of every year as Lake Protection and Awareness Month in the city of Muntinlupa.
Councilor Kay Ann Rogavilla, you are recognized.
Good morning, Madam Chair. This is pertain to the, nabasa ko na po yung report nito last Monday session. It's about adopt the resolution declaring the month of August of every year as Lake Protection and Awareness Month. I move to open the period of discussion.
Tayo pa ay nasa period of discussion na ating unfinished business ng nakaraang committee report. May nais po bang magtanong? Hindi pa natin yung kanina. Hindi pa natin yung kanina. May nais po bang magtanong o maglinaw?
This is UN Environment Program. I-adopt po natin yung resolution sa pag-declare po ng August as month of celebration ng lake. Due to threat and challenges na nararanasan ng ating lawa. So this aims to raise awareness and importance of lakes and the sustainable management of the lake and related ecosystems. Plus the livelihood din po. Hindi lang din po para sa youth ito, para po sa pangkalahatan. Yung mga grupo po, community na pwede pong isama regarding po dito sa event na to. Magiging event na ito.
Kung wala na po,
Kung wala naman na pong katanungan, I move to close the period of discussion and move to the period of amendment.
motion to end the period of discussion. Any second? Seconded by Councilor Attorney Reggie Andandito. Hearing no objection, the period of discussion is now closed. Tayo pa ay nasa period of amendment.
Sino magbabago? Sino mag-aamin?
Amendment. 2 minutes recess.
Yes, apo.
Tayo po ay magpapatuloy.
Yes. Nais ko po sanang baguhin na gawin na pong ordinansa ang naturang pag-declare the month of August every month.
Any second on the proposed amendment from resolution to ordinance seconded by Councilor Engineer Jonas Abadilla? Meron po bang tumututol sa nasabi pong amenda? Kung wala na po, ang nasabi pong amendment ay atin pong pinagtitibay.
Kung wala na pong i-amend, I close the period of amendment and pagbotohan po ang nasabing ordinansa.
Any second on the, Any second on the said motion, seconded by Council Attorney Rachel Ann Arsiaga. Hearing no objection, the period of amendment is now closed. All those in favor of the said ordinance, please raise your right hand.
In favor are Councilors Rongabilia, Sevilla Jr., Landrito, Camilon, Niefes, Arcilia, Resnedi, Mongkayao, Arsiaga Molina, Coro, Diaz, Bagatsing, Hilapo, Shalimar Baez Reyes, Moldes Jr., Martinez, Ampaya at Abadilla. Lahat po ng narito isa ngayon.
Dahil ang lahat po ng narito ay sumasang-ayon ang nasabi pong ordinansa ay atin pong pinagtitibay.
Para po sa ating unang ikalawang basa, ito po ang ordinance providing assistance to the relocated families for a reckoning period of 2 years from the date of relocation.
Councilor Engineer Mameto Sevilla Jr. are recognized.
Maraming salamat po. Itong paksa po na ito ay na-committee report ko 2 Mondays ago. At ito po ay for second reading ngayong araw na to. Bigyan ko lang po ng konting overview, no? Ang title po, an ordinance institutionalizing comprehensive residential assistance program for relocated families or a period of 2 years from the date of relocation and providing guidelines for its implementation. Natatandaan po ng ating mga kasamahan na due to the mandamus ng Supreme Court dun sa mga mamamayang nakatira sa mga waterways, binigyan ng period upang ito ay i-relocate at maiwasang maging biktima ng mga kalamidad. May mga kababayan po tayong inilipat sa iba't ibang lugar. Santa Rosa, meron sa Calauan. So with that, naisipan ng ating pamahalaan na since ito pong mga mamamayan natin ito ay nagbe-benefit doon sa mga iba't ibang programa ng ating lungsod, ay binibigyan natin sila ng pagkakataon kahit sila ay nakalipat na within 2 years after their location ay mapakinabangan pa nila yung mga iba't ibang benepisyong natanggap nila dito sa ating lungsod, no? And in-expand po ito, hindi lang yon sa mandamus ng Supreme Court, even yung mga beneficiaries nung tatamaan ng DOTR, NSCR project, at saka yung magiging beneficiaries ng Laguna Lake Road Network project, at iba pang government projects na may mga tatamaang mga mamamayan natin na kailangang ilikas, no? So, yung cover po ng kanilang mga benefits o yung mga services na pwede nilang pa rin makuha ay yung scholarship sa mga bata, no? Yung business capital or yung dagdag puhunan, yung mga healthcare services na ibinoprovide po natin sa mga mamamayan natin, employment support na ibinibigay ng ating peso, at yung mga benefits ng senior citizen. So, yun lang po, Madam Chair, kung merong nais magpalinaw pa or magtanong dito sa ordinansang isinusulong ng inyong lingkod, ang inyong pong lingkod ay nakahandang sumagot sa mga katanungan.
Tayo pa ay nasa period of discussion. Wala. Consummates. Consider.
Kung wala naman pong nais na maglino, kasi simple lang naman po ito, no? Ine-extend lang yung period na mapakinabangan nila yung benefits na nakakukuha nila rito. Since kung magta-transfer naman sila ron ng kanilang residency na, pwede na itong maputol kasi ang requirement dito basically yung mga unang-una yung voter certificate, yung mga ganyan. So, kung wala na pong nais maglino o magtanong, hiniling ko punta po sila period of discussion at dumako tayo sa period of amendment.
Motion to end the period of discussion, seconded by Councilor Dado Moldes. Hearing no objection, the period of discussion is now closed. We are now in the period of amendment.
Regular amendment po natin ginagawa. Lahat ng bobotong mga konsyal ay mapasama bilang co-sponsor ng nasabing ordinansa.
Any second on the proposed amendment, seconded by Councilor Engineer Jonas Abadilla. Hearing no objection, the proposed amendment is approved.
Kung wala naman po nais magdagdag sa amendment, hiniling po tapusin na ang period of amendment at patuloy na pagtibayin ang nasabing ordinansa, Madam Chair.
Any second on the proposed Any second on the said motion, seconded by Councilor Dado Moldes. Hearing no objection, the period of amendment is now closed. All those in favor of the said ordinance, please raise your right hand.
Sangayon po sa ating bulwagan, sina Consel Sevilla Jr., Rongavilla, Bagatsing, Ilapo, Baez Reyes, Moldes Jr., Martinez, Ampaya, Abadilla, Landrito, Camilon, Yefes, Arcilia, Presnedi, Bongcayao, Arsiaga Molina, Coro, at Diaz. Lahat po nang narito ay sangayon.
Dahil ang lahat po ng narito ay sang-ayon ang nasabi pong ordinansa ay ating pong pinagtitibay.
Alo po ay ang Culture and the Arts on an ordinance establishing the Culture and the Arts Resource Database or CARD in the City of Muntinlupa.
Councilor Jedi Presnedi, you are recognized.
Maraming salamat po sa pagkilala. Ito po ay, una po natin ay public hearing po noong May 13, 2026 at nakapag-public hearing po ulit noong July 28, 2026. At una po natin ay committee report noong po May 18, 2026. Ito po ang, ganun din po, ito po yung patungkol po sa ipag-grade pa rin sa Culture and Arts Resource Database. Ang task po na ito ay patungkol po sa ibibigay po ng Republic Act No. 11904 or ng Philippine Creative Industries Development Act. At meron pong nabanggit po doon patungkol po sa role po ng local government na yung pagkolekta po ng datos para po sa creative industries. At yun po ang tinutugunan ng ordinansa po. Para po sa version na ito, yung mga updated version, ay meron pong inibigay po na tatlong objective. Una po, yung data-driven governance. Pangalawa po, para po mag-address ito for policy formulation. At yung pangatlo po ay para po sa research and development. Next is yung scope po nito. Ang scope po ay ang mga individuals and organizations in creative industries nasa territorial jurisdiction ng Muntinlupa City under the domains identified under Republic Act No. 11904. At para po sa registration process, may dalawa pong dapat din na registration. Una po ay ang online registration na ito po online registration na ito ay buuin po ng ating MIS. At letter B, on-site registration. Yung physical submission po ng mga forms dun po sa Tourism, Culture and Arts Department. Para po sa registration requirements, meron po 4 categories na identify. Una po ay yung mga individuals na magre-register. Next is yung organizations na based on sa community-based. Letter C is school-based organizations. At letter D ay yung other organizations. Meaning yung mga organization na wala pa po silang ipaprovide na DBI or SEC registration. Section 8, updating of database. Ito pong culture and arts resource database ay kailangan po i-update every year. At every time po na may changes, inform lang po ng mga tao po yung ligadan po, may change of location. At halimbawa po kasi yung mga businesses po ay na nasa creative industries, hindi po natin alam kung okay na po sila, kung nakapag-ready na po sila. So yun po, i-update po siya every year. At ang implementing offices po ay ang TICAS, MIS, City Planning, PIO, CDM, PLO, at ang SDO po din pa. Ang pinakamag-head po dito ay ang Tourism, Culture, and Arts Department. Sa incentives po na ibigay, para po sa mga magre-register, pwede po sila i-consider sa participation po sa mga trainings and capacity building. Pwede po sila ma-invite or ma-refer po sa performance sa mga events. Pwede po silang ma-promote po sa social media pages, lalo na meron po tayo mga local artists, yung mga local businesses na pwede po namin i-promote sa private sector. At ganoon din po, sa financial assistance po sa mga competitions, halimbawa, meron po tayong ipapadala na artists sa ibang bansa or ibang city. So pwede pong magkalog po through this ordinance. And pwede po sila to participate as an exhibitor in LGA-initiated trade fairs and bazaars. Halimbawa po yung mga eco-grocer or yung mga yung sa MEFD na ginagawa tuwing Insenas ng Katapusan. Yun po, siyempre po, kailangan po i-coordinate po sa Philippine Creative Industries Development Council as sino-coordinate po sa Republic Act number 11904. At ganoon din po, siyempre po yung Information Education Campaign, very relevant po siya tuwing September, kasi ang September po ang Philippine Creative Industries Development Month. February po, ito po ay National Arts Month, at ang May po ay ang National Heritage Month. At ang data privacy po, syempre, ito po ay dapat pangalagaan po natin. At ang IRR po ay bubuhay po ng tikat at ang ibang opisina in consultation po sa mga stakeholders po dito sa opisina. So kung meron pong nais magtanong, bukas po tayo. Hindi ko po nabuksan po ang period of discussion. As the rules is still suspended.
Tayo po ay nasa period of discussion. May nais po bang magtanong o maglinaw sa nasabi pong ordinansa?
Okay po, kung wala pong nais magtanong, hindi ko po naman tuunan po tayo sa period of amendment.
Motion to end the period of discussion, seconded by Councilor Engineer Jonas Abadilla. Hearing no objection, the period of discussion is now closed. Tayo pa ay nasa period of amendment.
Para po sa period of amendment, i-release ko po na lahat po ng boboto po para sa nasabi ordinansa, isama po as sponsor.
Any second on the proposed amendment? Seconded by Councilor Attorney Reggie Enardito. Hearing no objection, the proposed amendment is approved.
Kung wala na pong mag-aakit, then i-release po na magsuko na po tayo sa pagpapatibay po na nasabi ng ordinansa.
Motion to end the period of amendment, seconded by Councilor Attorney Enardito. Hearing no objection, the proposed amendment is now closed. All those in favor of the said ordinance, please raise your right hand.
In favor are Councilors Pesneri, Bongcayao, Arsiaga Molina, Coro Diaz, Arcilia, Niefes, Camilon, Landrito, Sevilla Jr., Rongabilia, Bagatsing, Hilapo, Baez Reyes, Moldes Jr., Martinez, Ampaya, at Badilla. Lahat po na narito ay isa ngayon.
Dahil ang lahat po ng narito ay sumasang-ayon, ang nasabi pong ordinansa ay ating pong pinagtitibay on second and final reading.
Para po sa ating liham, ito po ay letter of Olivia Ancheta, Police Colonel, Acting Chief of Police, Muntinlupa City Police Station, on the proposed enactment of the Anti-Balaclava and other face concealing headgear ordinance similar to Manila and Quezon City ordinances.
Majority Floor Leader, Attorney Coro, you are
This
recognized.
letter, Madam Presiding Officer, is related to peace and order, so we will refer this matter to the Committee on Peace and Order, headed by the Honorable Councilor Attorney Alex Rodriguez.
Susunod po ay other matters.
Meron po bang
Other matters?
other matters? Councilor Engineer Jonas Abadilla, you are recognized.
Madam Presiding Officer, magandang umaga po ulit. Gusto ko pong ilapag sa Sangguniang Panglungsod ang isang napakalaking concern sa Muntinlupa Business High School. Actually, nagkaroon po ng isang post sa Muntinlupa City News and Updates Facebook page particularly. Nag-post po ang isang citizen po natin, galing po sa Barangay Puli, na nagkakaroon ng screenshot about the threats on the safety of our grade 7 students of Muntinlupa Business High School. Madam Presiding Officer, binanggit po natin dito sa Sangguniang Panglungsod itong matter na ito dahil hindi lamang po dapat yung MPHS yung maprotektahan po natin, kundi lahat po ng paaralan dito po sa lungsod ng Muntinlupa. And as tackled during the third quarter meeting of the Peace and Order Council, Joint Peace and Order Council meeting, and the Anti-Drug and Substance Abuse Council meeting of the city government, isang mahalagang napag-usapan po doon yung mga matters, pressing concerns and matters concerning the school shooting incidents in other LGUs. Kasama din po doon yung pag-take over ng mga cases and pag-initiate ng Philippine National Police Schools Division Office sa mga ganitong klaseng matters, Madam Presiding Officer. At para po magkaroon ng pagkaalwan ang pakiramdam ng ating mga magulang na nararamdaman po nila na safe po pa rin ang ating mga paaralan, ay patuloy po natin suportahan yung resolution na pinasa po. Actually, napasa rin po natin ito as authored by our Honorable Councilor Attorney Arshaga na magkaroon ng technical working group or task force para po protektahan ang ating mga schools. Particularly, magkaroon ng City School Safety Task Force. Pero sa ngayon po, Madam Presiding Officer, since binuo po natin itong task force na ito, nagkakaroon po tayo ng mga protocols. Sa ngayon pa lang po, Madam Presiding Officer, i-direct na po natin sa kapangyarihan po ng Sangguniang Panglungsod. Matulungan po natin ang ating kapulisan at ating mga barangay na magkaroon ng additional safety and security measures sa ating mga paaralan. Hindi lamang sa pressing issues ngayon sa Muntinlupa Business High School main, kundi sa lahat ng mga paaralan sa lungsod ng Muntinlupa. Makakatulong po ito para maprotektahan ang ating mga kapwa kabataan, lalo-lalo na yung mga nag-aaral. Pangalawa dito, magkaroon ng kumpiyansa ang ating mga magulang na ligtas na pupunta ang ating mga mag-aaral sa kanilang mga paaralan. At isang malaking tulong na rin po ito sa ating mga kaguruan at staff sa ating education sector na kung saan pinoprotektahan po tayo ng lahat ng mga partner agencies, government agencies po natin dito sa lungsod ng Muntinlupa. Kasabay po ng pagbuo ng ating task force at pagkaroon ng mga protocols, siguraduhin din po natin at i-direct din po natin sa Philippine National Police, particularly sa Cybercrime Unit, Madam Presiding Officer, yung mga threats, online threats, because this is a violation of the cybersecurity law. So, maimbestigahan kung saan nagagaling itong mga threats na ito at matukoy kung sino ang mga taong behind this. Mahalaga po yun, Madam Presiding Officer. Dahil isa po itong action, hindi lamang ng Sangguniang kundi pamahalaang lungsod as led by our Mayor Rafi Diazo, na matukoy kung saan nagagaling ang mga threats na ito at magkaroon ng kumpiyansa ang mga magulang at mga kabataan natin na mapatuloy natin na ang mga paaralan natin sa Muntinlupa ay zones of peace. Dahil alam natin na walang lugar ang karahasan at pananakot sa lahat ng ating mga paaralan dito sa lungsod ng Muntinlupa. May it be not just in the Muntinlupa but also the whole country. So yun lamang, Madam Presiding Officer, I hope that Sangguniang also direct this to the PNP, to the SDO for the record, Madam Presiding Officer, and additional security measures to the barangay for additional security for our different schools here in Muntinlupa. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you so much, Councilor Jonas Abadilla. Any other matters to be discussed? Kung wala na po, Majority Floor Leader, Attorney Raul Coro.
Madam Presiding Officer, since there are no more other matters to tackle, I move that we adjourn our 56th
regular session this morning.
Seconded by Councilor Engineer Arlene Hilapa and Attorney Reggie Andandito. Hearing no objection, our 56th regular session is hereby adjourned.